right, so Espen decided to donate an entire video called How J.K. Rowling Destroyed Scotland's Hate Crime Law. I feel like the people who celebrate J.K. Rowling anymore probably don't need to deserve time on the air, but I guess we'll find out here in a second. First, let's get into the fan art section, and then we'll get into the video itself. This one is from Tessila, a doodle of an alternate timeline, where a slime Suris is an acolyte of Owo e-begging. Please donate at slime Owo. Let me inform you about our god Owo. Watches all, judges all. I guess you guys got a bunch of free Owos out of that. Speaking of e-begging, would you guys like to donate to increase the time that we're in the marathon? That'd be cool. There's currently a day and 20 hours left, which really is like double that because of the way the marathon works. But like, yeah. Anyway, thank you very much to Sela for the fan art. If you guys want your fan art to be shown in a future video, drop it into the fan art section of the Discord. With that said, let's get into the video itself. Oh boy, this is gonna be fun.
Sent to a Scottish gulag. She's a staunch defender.
What? Hold on. Hold on. We need to increase your volume. We need to increase your volume. Here we are.
J.K. Rowling might have just saved all of us from being sent to a Scottish gulag. She's a staunch defender of women's rights. I mean the original style of women, like her, not the new version of women, like me. So, she's a—
Oh my fucking god. Okay, I don't think anybody was going to be sent to a gulag in Scotland. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe some people in Scotland can let me know what the difference is, but my guy, if you don't identify as a woman, you ain't a woman. I'm sorry. Like, gee, I wonder if I just, like, spent a ton of time just showing him a bunch of hot trans women, if he would go, yeah, no, none of those are men, those are all women. And then you point out, like, they've got dicks. Sylvie Snow, thank you for giving your points for an wall. Said accent maxing critical drinker coded. Razor says, what did I miss? Scotsman here. I forgot. You're British on Tuesdays, Scottish on Thursdays. But yeah.
Fierce critic of Scotland's ridiculous Hate Crime Act, which came into power on April the 1st. This law is widely seen to have been pushed through to allow Scotland's ruling party, the Scottish Nationalist Party, to muzzle anyone who criticises them, especially over their gender ideology. The SNP support self-ID, which allows people to identify as whatever gender they want. So,
yeah, that's what you do in a sane country. So, the hate crime public order maintains and consolidates current protections in law against offenses aggravated by prejudice against disability, race, religion, sexual orientation, and trans identity. Wait, hold on. Wait, hold the fuck on. Wait, it's not a new law? It just maintains shit that already happened? Wait, this isn't new. This is 3 years old? And it just is for protecting people with disabilities, race, religion, sexual orientation, trans identity. Wait. Why is it not a new thing? Act 1 just it literally did the equivalent of when you're making a book and you do bookbinding, where like you start gluing the back together and you start sewing it all the fuck up. That's all this apparently was taking a bunch of previously existing shit and just like put it all together in a single together book? Oh, okay. Cool. I guess video's over. He lied.
If I want to be a woman, I just say I'm a woman and ping, magic. I'm a particularly stunning and brave woman. I don't even need to wear the underwear. I mean, I don't need to wear it, but I do like the feel of satin on my lady balls. Self-ID sounds all nice and inclusive, letting people be their authentic selves. But these inclusive rules were immediately used by male rapists to be included in women's prisons, and by other men to be included in women's changing rooms. It turned out—
Okay, so hold on. Does he actually have cited sources here? Okay, no he doesn't. So I'm not familiar with the two examples that he gave.
In women's prisons, and by other inclusive rules were immediately—
Let's see here.
Used by male rapists to be included.
So I don't know who this is, offhand. Is that fact check time? So, yes, I would like to fact check this, but I don't know who either of these people are offhand. So this is relevant now, dang. Hold on. Let's see here. Is it J.K. Rowling? Rapist in woman's prison. Let's find out. I'm assuming that this is what he's talking about, but there's no pictures or anything. So it's hard for me to tell if that's exactly who he's talking about. Let's find out. Let's see.
Is now suing New York City. She says she was raped by a heterosexual man who was posing as a transgender woman behind bars. As the I-Team's Chris Glorioso reports, the alleged victim says jail staff ignored her when she warned them the inmate was lying about their gender identity.
Okay.
I'll be scarred for the rest of my life.
Court filings identify her only as Rose Doe, and in this exclusive interview, she wanted to be clear about one thing. Rose says she has no bias towards transgender individuals. Her concern is with the City Department of Correction failing to prevent an imposter from pretending to be transgender behind bars.
But wait, hold on. That sounds different too. Wait a minute, hold on. No. I thought we had a situation where a trans person was the rapist. And now we have, and now the story seems to be that there's people who pretended to be trans and therefore created the whole, but that's different. But that's different though. That's not a trans person getting into a woman's cell and then being a rapist. That's a man being an abusive piece of shit. I'm so confused. Why? Okay.
Included in women's prisons, and by other men to be included in women's changing rooms. It turned out that letting people be their authentic selves isn't great because a lot of people are authentically wrong-uns. The Hate Crime Act is a really—
Alright, so hold on. My guy, can we figure out something real quick? Just on population statistics. Are there more incidences where men pretending to be trans rape women? Or are there more incidences where women being put into the wrong areas end up causing trans women to be raped? And we basically just ignored trans men during this entire conversation. Things get pretty awkward for them too. Said authentically wrong, the fuck does that mean? Yeah, I have no idea. Red Joker says sounds like a false narrative by a transphobe. Yeah, it's starting to seem like he's not actually he wants to be talking about trans women, but he's doing it through the lens of men pretending to be trans, but the way that he's describing it is men pretending to be women. So I guess all trans women have to be rapists to him. Vice says it's a red herring and a straw man. Yes, it's a giant red herring and it's a giant straw man. I know what trans women look like. They tend to not look like men because generally speaking that would cause them dysphoria. Jesus Christ.
vaguely worded law, giving the police and judges a lot of leeway in how they interpret it. So it's very important to see how it's applied. This will set the precedent for future cases. And this is where J.K. Rowling took a bullet for us. A person commits an offence under this act if they communicate material or behave in a manner that a reasonable person would consider to be threatening or abusive with the intention of stirring up hatred based on the protected characteristics such as sexual orientation or gender identity. There doesn't need to be a victim or any evidence, just the perception in a witness's mind that someone is abusive and motivated by ill will. And there's no protection for speech in your own home. So if your kid doesn't get a second portion of ice cream, they can go into school and denounce you for something you said over the dinner table. Hey,
I don't think that's how that works, but you know what? Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Scotland, child gets parents arrested. Let's see if that's a thing here. Let's see here. Oh boy, the only people talking about this are the Christian Broadcasting Network? Oh, that means it's 100% believable. Aww, that's just great. That's just great. What, someone Scottish, please explain? Okay, so let's see here. Yeah, the only things I'm seeing are like a Reddit post from r/Scotland and the Christian Broadcasting Network bitching about this, and the one from r/Scotland is from Telegraph. Parents who refuse children gender change face 7 years in Scotland. Okay. If the only places talking about this are Telegraph and the Christian Broadcasting Network, let me see here. Let's go ahead and take a look and see. Oh boy, what's that? Telegraph has a mixed bias and has a mixed credibility rating and has a very right-wing bias? God, color me shocked. Isn't that so weird? Isn't it so strange? When people freak out about stuff that probably isn't ever going to happen, and it's the freaking out of the hypotheticals. Only the hypotheticals. Gee, it always ends up being this. It always ends up being this. When it's somebody spewing bullshit on the internet, their source is either trust me bro or like a rag.
This system worked great in the Chinese Cultural Revolution. The creator of this law, Scottish leader Humza Yousaf, protests that there's a high bar to be prosecuted under it. I mean, for a start, you have to be one of his enemies. He says a reasonable person would have to find you to be abusive or insulting.
Wait, so did he actually say you have to be one of his enemies, or is that your hyperbole? Is that your words? Because, like, if those are his words, which I doubt, then that's alarming. But that doesn't sound to be his words. That sounds like your words.
But where are you going to get a reasonable person in Scotland in 2024? And Scotland is a country built on being abusive and insulting as a form of affection. It would be like criminalising passive-aggressive politeness in England. And there's plenty of precedent for people being investigated and recorded by the police as committing a non-crime hate incident. Yet the police now busy themselves with non-crimes, apparently. Scottish politician Murdo Fraser was recorded as committing one of these non-offences when he said that identifying as non-binary was like identifying as a cat, which isn't a good analogy. Cats are real, whereas non-binary is a made-up thing ugly fat people say to try and make themselves look interesting.
Okay, so don't you like how we get the first part? Actually, me being an abusive piece of shit, that's just part of my culture, you know. And then he decides to be an abusive piece of shit. I feel like it's okay to talk about the fact that his face looks like it's been dragged on concrete, right? I feel like that's an okay thing to say now, right? Like, tit for tat. Is that a fine thing to say? Am I allowed to say that now that he's shown himself to be a piece of shit? Is that all right? Because I think it's okay. But yeah, no, any people who are non-binary can have any body shape in existence because anybody can be non-binary, so anybody can have those body shapes. I just... All the people who are non-binary are fat people. No, what? Anywho, I've dated hot NBs, but okay, sure. What the fuck ever, dude.
Non-crime hate incidents are serious too. Maybe not for J.K. Rowling, but for regular plebs like us. These could ruin our lives. They're searchable in background checks when you apply for a job, so good luck.
Yeah, it's almost like if you want to work at a place where trans people might be, not being a transphobe may be a good idea. It's just like... Okay, so, a bit of a tangent. There's a guy I went to high school with, right? And I'm not gonna say the dude's name, but if he watches my content, yes, this is about you. He's the dude who introduced me to Alex Jones, the dude who introduced me to Zeitgeist, the dude who introduced me to all of the conspiracy-laden non-shit that I believed for a very long time like an idiot. Now, that person has not held an actual job in like 15 years. They quit high school, kind of sort of floundered around getting a GED, and then did fuck all nothing. Their dads basically enabled them to do fuck all nothing for most of their life. Now, one of the cited reasons they have, and I have evidence of this, by the way, so you can't even deny this one. One of the cited reasons that they have for not getting a job is they don't want to be abused by black people or trans people because they want to be able to say the N-word to black people. I don't know how many fucking Chan boards you need to be on for that to be the opinion you have. And this is a person who I used to be friends with in high school. This is the person you've become. You've become a piece of shit. So, I just have to wonder, should a person like that, who literally won't get a job because they want to be a flaming piece of shit, should that person be allowed to even get employment at places that would have black people and trans people? I would say probably not. I would say maybe that person needs to fix their fucking shit before they go and start making a living wage. I don't know, if you're going to participate in society, maybe learn how to tolerate society. But it makes sense to me that a background check might look into something like that if they know that they're gonna be, you know, paying you money if you're a fucking Nazi. So it sounds like the guy needs to pull his head out of his ass. The dude thought that he was going to develop a magnet rail cannon for the United States military and also China and also Russia, sell it to all of them, and then have a personal off switch on in his own house, and then he would turn it off and that would end all wars. Ignoring the fact that literally every single one of those people would just go back to using conventional weaponry, and then he would get executed by multiple governments. Like, the dude's delusions of grandeur and delusions that he is even an iota bit of smart are astounding to me. So yeah, running a background check on somebody before letting them, you know, get employed in 2024, probably an okay thing to do.
Trying to feed and house your family. If you've ever liked a tweet that Hamza Yusuf doesn't approve of, J.K. Rowling's...
Well, good thing that that politician does not directly have any say in whether or not somebody gets hired at a job. Fuck shit.
Challenge to the law came in this tweet thread listing various prominent transgender women, or people who call themselves transgender women, which is actually the same thing if you think about it. Scotland's Hate Crime Act comes into effect today. Women gain no additional protections, of course, but well-known trans activist Beth Douglas, darling of prominent Scottish politicians, falls within a protected category. Lovely Scottish lass and convicted double rapist Isla Bryson found her true authentic female self shortly before she was due to be sentenced. Misgendering is hate, so respect Isla's pronouns, please. Love the leggings.
Okay, so this is who they're talking about. Okay, so if this person found this out about themselves shortly before being arrested, then yeah, that's somebody who's lying. Okay, sure. Let's go ahead and see what's going on with this particular story. Isla Bryson. Now that we actually have a name to look at, Let's take a look here. Isla Bryson, a 31-year-old Scottish transgender woman, is what it notes on Wikipedia, was convicted of the rapes of 2 women. The rapes occurred in 2016 and 2019, prior to their gender transition. Bryson was charged in 2019 and started transitioning in 2020. Bryson attended a beauty course in 2021 before her trial, with course mates and course holder stating that they were unaware of Bryson's changes. Okay. The case caused controversy after Bryson was remanded to the women's prison to await sentence, though she was segregated from the other prisoners pending risk assessment, following which she was transferred to a male prison. Wait, hold on! Then there was no fucking problem in the first place! Hold on. So, they put her in a woman's prison, or they put them in a woman's prison, I don't fucking know. They put them in a woman's prison because they identified as a woman, but they kept them segregated from all the women, so there was no way they could actually harm anyone. And then after they did their assessment, they were like, yeah, no, you need to go to a men's prison. And then they sent them off that way. Wait. So what the fuck's the problem? That sounds like a perfectly reasonable excuse. You find a person who probably doesn't need to be in this space, and you take them out of the space. But while they were in the space, pending review, you put them in a place where they couldn't hurt anybody within that space. This seems like a non-issue. Everything seems to have been followed in a way that needed to be done. What? Suris, I've got conservatives lying about the most inane, dumbest shit after Biden gave his Speaker of the House speech. Conservatives outright lie. Yeah, no, this is just J.K. Rowling outright lying. Okay. Or at the very least, omitting the pertinent information required to make an actual accurate assessment of this. We're only going to do one more. We're only going to do one more, and if we find out that once again there's bullshit, we're done.
Fragile flower Katie Dolatowski, 6'5", was rightly sent to a women's prison in Scotland after a conviction. This ensured she was protected from violent predatory men, unlike the 10-year-old that Katie sexually assaulted in a women's public bathroom.
Alright. Katie Dolatowski. Let's see here. I don't want Daily Mail. I don't want any of this shit. I just want the case. So let's go ahead and see here. That's from Glinner. Trans Crime UK. Okay, hold on. Okay. On the first day the law came into force, author J.K. Rowling posted a series of tweets about 10 high-profile trans women, including convicted double rapist Isla Bryson, which we already covered, a trans woman who abducted a young girl in Scottish borders while dressed as a woman, Mrydal Wada, so that's not a trans woman. Let's see here. Of the Edinburgh Rape Crisis Center and Katie Dolatowski, a, quote, trans pedophile who sexually assaulted a 10-year-old girl in the toilet of a supermarket in Kirkcaldy. Thief. I'm trying to find any actual information on this. Let's see here. Every single conversation about this person is from, like, Glinner or Daily Mail or anything. I can't find any, like, non-biased look at this shit. I'm not gonna go to the fucking Glinner update for this. So I don't care what someone did. No one should be raped in prison. Anyone that wants people to be raped in prison is pro-rape. Yep, you're just pro-rape at that point. Scottish Sun. You know what? Fine. Let's look at Daily Mail. Let's see what Daily Mail says about this. It says it looks like we're using an ad blocker. Fuck you. Trans pedophile who now identifies as female and backed Nicholas Sturgeon's gender law reforms is locked up in male jail for 78 days after breaching order to stay indoors at night. Convicted sex offender attacked inmate and breached curfew orders on release. Dilatowski will be held in Lomasa Men's Prison in East Dunbartonshire. A convicted sex offender who is a trans woman will be held in a male jail for 78 days from Thursday after breaching bail conditions following her release from prison for assaulting a fellow inmate in Palmont Young Offenders Institute in 2021. She skipped her bail accommodation in Granger, Stirlingshire twice within 1 week, saying that she was suffering from a mental health crisis and did not feel safe there. Falkirk Sheriff Court heard, let's see here, she had contacted the Scottish Ambulance Service on 13th of April saying she was having a bad mental health crisis. Sheriff Craig Harris said the breach raised some concern about her ability to follow court orders and sentenced her to 78 in prison, keeping a structured deterrent sentence. So none of this is on what I'm trying to find. It's a daily fail, you mean? Unreliable right-wing biased rag. Yep, I agree with that, but let me look at the number 10. Let's see here. Is this what we're looking for? God, Daily Mail, I'm not allowing ads for you. I'm not. Pedophile who assaulted a 10-year-old girl in a supermarket laboratory and spent time in Corntown Vale Women's Prison calls Nicholas Sturgeon a great first minister and praises her controversial gender reforms. Okay. Trying to actually... There we go. Katie Dolotowski, 22, sexually assaulted a 10-year-old girl in Morrison's toilet just weeks after using her phone to spy on another girl in the ASDA female toilet. The attacker, who was born a man but now identifies as female, has previously been held in segregation unit at Cornton Vale Women's Jail in Stirlingshire. Now it emerged that they often tweeted in support of the gender reforms to make it easy for Scots to change their legal sex. Okay, so looking at all of this, what we seem to have here is a person who is horrible. Anybody who is a pedophile is horrible. But there is also one other thing to note here. The weird idea that somehow putting up a sign or something that says, like, no male rapists is going to magically keep male rapists from getting into women's bathrooms. Like, none of this seems to be about the fact that they're trans. This person seems to be a pedophile first and a trans person second. So the piece of shit got caught. Oh no. Yeah, no, like, this person is a piece of shit first and a pedophile second. Or a piece of shit first and a trans person second. Is what it seems to be on my end.
Samantha Norris was cleared of exposing her penis to two 11-year-old girls. Hooray!
All right, then we look at this one. Samantha Norris. "11-year-old. All right, so let's see here. A charity shop worker deemed to have alarming and complex views was caught with 16,000 images of child abuse and revealed that she had a New Year's resolution to have sex with a child under 10 years old. All right, so again, we have a piece of shit. The image includes children as young as 3, with others showing youngsters aged about 6 in distress and pain. Norris, 56 years old, pleaded guilty to 3 charges of making indecent images of women in categories A, B, and C. She entered the pleas following a trial, which she was cleared of charges of engaging in sexual activity in the presence of a child of indecent exposure of 2 11-year-old girls. Sentencing Norris. Nicholas Rowland said that Norris had in her possession written notes describing sexual fantasies involving 4.5-year-old child and a New Year's resolution to have sex with a child under 10. He told the defendant, "It's all about you, Samantha, and not the victims. You do not accept that they are victims. You have distorted views and do not feel your offending should be treated as serious. How would a right-minded person think about this? Your views are alarming and complex. You present a high risk of harm to children. It's pretty blatant that you decided not to enter guilty pleas. At these pleas would have gone in front of the jury of the other matters. During the trial charges of exposing and sexual activity, of which Norris was cleared, the prosecution had claimed the defendant had exposed her penis deliberately to 2 younger youngsters through the window of her flat. But Norris, who worked at a charity shop, told the court she was a naturist who was habitually naked in her own home, and the children could only have seen her if they had been spying on her. She also said that she had been the victim of abuse from youngsters taunting her. Norris was then jailed for 2 years and was made the subject to have a sexual harm prevention order put on her for 10 more years. Okay, cool. So we have, again, a piece of shit for various reasons, but not actually the exposing reasons. The thing that J.K. Rowling is pointing out was a person being in their own home and being naked. Something that is not illegal. You're allowed to be naked in your own home. I am often naked in my own home because it's my house. And if there's anywhere I'm allowed to be naked in, it's my fucking house. Now, this person does seem to be a very, very harmful individual for other reasons, but not for the reasons that J.K. Rowling seems to give a shit about. Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird? Unfortunately, she was then convicted for possession of 16,000 images of children rape. Be that as it may. Okay, so also, what J.K. Rowling seems to forget here is that the trial where the exposing 11-year-old girls part and the 16,000 images part, that seems to have been the same trial, it looks like. So the language here is almost like, well, they said she wasn't a harm, and then, oh, she went on to be a harm. No, this seems to have all been in the same trial. Okay. Cool. So once again, the information that J.K. Rowling puts first is missing context and is also not even technically what happened in the first place. Great. Great. Oh, hi, Espen! Thank you for introducing me to this. I want to die, but I want to take you with me. Vice Rhino, thank you for giving out a community sub. I want to take you with me, too. Okay.
Ray! Unfortunately, she was then convicted for possession of 16,000 images of children being raped and sexually assaulted. Be that as it may, Sam's still a lady to me. Scottish woman and butcher Amy George abducted an 11-year-old girl while dressed in female clothing. No idea why this was mentioned in court. Of course she was wearing women's clothing. She's a woman. Amy took the girl home and sexually abused her over a 27-hour period.
Okay, so we have a dude who dressed as a woman to get to a person. Again, I don't think people understand. If a rapist wants to do the rape thing, they're gonna do whatever they can to make the rape thing happen. Like, the law's not going to change that. Espen says, I'll join you in the grave later, just woke up and need to get breakfast. Oi. Can we lock JK in Azkaban already? So is this just gonna be him reading off all of these? Because we've gone through a few of them, and while it does seem to be a thread of pieces of shit, there seems to be a lot of context lacking in each and every one of these, which JK could give because she has the blue check mark. But let's go ahead and see here. When she's done with her thing, does he do anything besides read tweets?
Very well put together and entertaining with a twist at the end. Honestly, J.K. Rowling could write for a living. Some people criticised J.K. They said that she's including regular trans women alongside sexual predators. But the whole point is that these sexual predators are being included in women's spaces, and it shows that these gender laws are bonkers and unworkable and genuinely dangerous for women. And
did you know that women can be rapists too? Did you know that? Did you know women, like cis women, are capable of rape? Did you know that? It's almost like the trans part is not the part that we need to focus on. It's the predator part, but okay.
Green Party politician Patrick Harvey, who was definitely bullied at school, so obviously loves a law that lets him run to teacher. Miss, J.K. Rowling said a bad word, miss. Accused J.K. Rowling of spurious performative nonsense, which is a bit rich coming from someone who tells you what their pronouns are. But the critics are
I'm gonna give myself a concussion. I just... Ow. What? I crave violence, and the only victim I can think of is me. You can't stop me! And the brain damage. Does he not understand that, like, on the internet, it's okay to tell people your pronouns because sometimes people can't tell if you're hiding behind a cartoon image like I do? Like, it's okay to say a pronoun on the internet because you don't have an identifier oftentimes when you have no voice, when you have no image, when you have no nothing. You just have the pronoun. Like, that's an okay thing to have, my dude. It's not performative to be like, hi, my name is Suris. My pronouns are he, him. What's performative about that? I'm literally just explaining a thing. There are people who come into my channel and are like, oh, are you a trans woman because you've got big fucking knockers? Like, no. I am a dude with a female avatar because everybody in my stream is a weird person who keeps gender bending me in fan art, and I finally complied. Like, pronouns are useful. It's not a fucking problem. Also, doing the whole, like, performative, that's rich coming from somebody who would, Let's stop that right there. Let's stop that right there. My guy, trying to do the whole et2 thing is a fallacy. It doesn't matter what somebody else has said or somebody else has done. What matters is the context of their speech or the content of their actions. And if the context of their speech or the content of their actions are sus, then sure, we can go ahead and do that. But otherwise, doing the ad hominem fallacy doesn't actually fucking help you.
Wrong. J.K. Rowling genuinely put her neck on the line here. She could have been investigated or prosecuted. Lower profile people have been, such as Marion Miller, who's arrested for transphobic tweets.
Could she... Wait, could she have... How is she putting her neck on... How is that putting her neck on the line? J.K. Rowling bitches about trans women on the internet. A thing she does every goddamn day. How is that stunning or brave or putting her neck out on the line? That's just a thing she fucking does all the time. Also, not one goddamn politician wants to be the person known for getting J.K. Rowling, children's author, arrested. Not one person wants that on their record. There's nothing fucking brave about that.
J.K. Rowling says that if they go after any woman for simply calling a man, I'll repeat that woman's words and they can charge us both at once. By forcing the hand of the authorities like this, J.K. Rowling has set a precedent.
Yeah, also, she's a fucking billionaire. She's not risking anything. Also, Cooney, thank you so much for the raid. How was your stream?
Now, nobody can be arrested for similar misgendering. She's a hero. We need more celebrities like this with cast iron morals and ovaries of steel. And could J.K. Rowling mocking the Hate Crime Act lead to it being repealed? Well, the launch of the Hate Crime Act was a complete clown show. I mean, imagine launching a law that nobody knows if they've broken or not. Other similar SNP legislation was repealed, like the offensive songs at football law that tried to get Old Firm fans to sing nice songs to each other instead of whatever hilarious sectarian drunken nonsense they get into. And the Named Persons Act was repealed as well. It tried to make children the responsibility of the state instead of the responsibility of their parents. All communist parties want to destroy the family and make the state all-powerful and all-seeing.
So I have a question, my guy. Because every single other thing you said during this video seems to be lacking a ton of context or just very, very desperately wants reasons to be able to abuse people, should I actually give a shit about any of the articles you've said? Should I actually look at any of them and look into them? Like, am I, as a person on the internet, incentivized to take anything you say seriously after you've already been shown to be an unserious person?
Realistically, this law has been a nightmare as well. Scottish police pledged to investigate every single complaint made under this law, but with upwards of 4,000 received already, they've had to pay overtime to process them all. And it won't stop there. Everyone will want to know if they've had an accusation made against them and if they've got a non-crime hate incident recorded against them. So the police will receive a deluge of data access requests under data protection laws that allow people the right to find out information held on themselves. It's going to get more expensive in the...
Did you know that so much of that could be automated that it wouldn't actually be an issue? Like, those data access requests can just be automated. As long as you've got enough bandwidth allocation on your server, you'd be fine.
Police are going to get more bogged down, and I hope this law gets repealed. I preferred my country when it was Scotland the Brave, not Scotland the Stunning and Brave, and ironically, J.K. Rowling didn't have the most complaints made against her. That honour went to the author of the Hate Crime Act, Humza Yousaf himself, for his anti-white rant. And the left-wing press have been trying to put their spin on it. According to The Guardian, neo-Nazis have been spamming the police with complaints. The Guardian seemed completely oblivious to the fact that the politicians putting people on lists and bringing through powers to silence political opponents like the actual Nazis did are the progressive politicians championed by The Guardian. And I've had
Alright, that's enough of that. What anti-white things did he say? Scottish minister anti-white. Oh, it's just Elon Musk bitching about him. It's literally all Elon Musk calling Humza racist. I'm done. I'm done. I can't trust anything fucking Musk says either. And every single first thing when you look it up is just Musk complaining about nonsense. What? Why should I care what Musk thinks? Ever. Anyways, let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. I'm getting a splitting headache thinking about this. I need food of some variety. Yeah, just shoot me. Insert end of video tagline here. Espen, I might hate you. Hey, I just quickly want to give a thank you to all of my wonderful patrons who keep this show running. YouTube and Twitch are a pretty bumpy ride at the best of times, and the stability a Patreon provides me is worth more than I can say here. I'd also like to thank each and every one of my $20 and up patrons here, and they would be Red Joker, Britzkrieg, Cameron, Dren, Jemshin, Smiling DM, Poundini, Mabbity Babbity, Naomi, Isaac, Nixie-chan, the Oberon team, Agamotto, Jordan, Ravi, Giuni, Kiratorian, Prisma, all of you, I'm not saying that part, and Starlight. And finally, thank you to everyone else that helps keep this channel alive. While you're here, why not check out another video? And thank you for watching.